I imagine I'm supposed to play Den first pretty much 100% of the time. Okay, new plan. If my opponent is playing a Lair of the Hydra deck, I think playing a 5/6 Anje on 3 probably is actually good. Although, immediate concern, I can't play this Town-razer Tyrant if I don't use this treasure to play it. So maybe I have to settle for playing a 4-power Town-razer Tyrant this turn? Distressing, but I think that's correct. I'm gonna ban that. And we're not going to attack the pack leader. Oh, right. I keep thinking Town-razer Tyrant's a 3/3. But it's not, it's a 4/4. It's better than that. Okay, so plan against green. We're going to cut Epicures, and we're going to cut Bloodcasters, and we're going to play 4 Bloodvial Purveyors, and I guess we're probably going to cut Town-razer Tyrants, and play Scavengers, and I guess play like Lolth, maybe? And then put the Bloodcasters back in because, I don't know, curve? How'd it go, green? Whew. Okay, mostly we're sort of just hoping that 5/6 flyers just take over the game. Yeah, this seems like this kind of hand could be a problem. I'm going to keep and hope we draw a black source to sacrifice the blood token off of Bloodtithe Harvester to Deadly Dispute. Otherwise, maybe this doesn't do anything. Also, I'm playing against an aggro deck, and I'm planning on paying, like, infinity life into Forsaken Crossroads. Oh, also I didn't want Stormseeker. I might need more anti-aggro cards. Never cut Tyrant. Tyrant isn't super good against aggro decks. And odds are we are supposed to be a defensive deck right now. Oh, that was Forsaken Crossroads, not Voldaren Estate. Okay, that makes more sense. Here to try to soak up as much as you can? I don't know, I'm playing like a weird red-black jank deck we just built on stream that plays 0 removal. I don't know if I'm someone you should be taking advice from right now. Still have no clue what to play this weekend. I would personally play the Is It list we were just playing a little bit ago. I don't think that there's any like stellar excellent meta-breaking deck right now. There's too much different types of aggro that are well positioned against different control decks, and none of the aggro decks like beat every other aggro deck. I don't feel like I'm in a good spot here. Have I seen Hogpog's Is It list with Tasha's and a lot of copy spells? I have. I haven't seen it in action. I find myself still relatively suspicious of how it performs against other Is It / Esper lists. It doesn't line up well in terms of what I am conditioned to think those matchups revolve around. Maybe I should play more Nighthawk Scavengers in the board so I can replace Reckless Stormseeker with those. Yeah, Halana and Alina's scary. They put the counters on Ascended Pack Leader and attack with just it. I guess Helena and Elena is actually really good against the 5/6, isn't it? Because the opponent can just sit around doing nothing for a while. Yeah, that means I actually do need answers to Helena and Elena. Because, for example, right now I can't actually do anything. I shouldn't have played that tap land. Yeah, well, that's the game. Yeah, okay. I actually need answers to Helena and Elena. I can't play 0 removal spells. That doesn't make sense. Shouldn't you give Pack Leader haste and draw 2 extra cards and do 3 extra damage? Probably. But I don't think I beat the Helena and Elena here. Okay. A ton of people don't know Helena gives haste. Isn't that the only reason the card's playable? Do they just think it's there to put +1/+1 counters on stuff? Okay. So, if I also wanted to cut Stormseekers, because I remembered that card's bad, then I want to play Lolth and Sorin, because maybe those cards aren't bad. Then, I guess maybe I play like a Morbid Opportunist? And maybe we have a slight problem with Helena and Elena. I keep forgetting the card can just sit around. Helena and Elena's never getting text just from people reading it? I don't know about that one. Have you ever, noticed that card as first strike? Do I keep this? I really don't like Anje. I guess I don't dislike Anje. Murloc Scavenger on 3 is fine. It's like the world's worst mana base. I don't want a mulligan, though. It's not Secret Reach if it's an actual archer. It's only Secret Reach if it's not an archer, for some reason. That's just regular Reach. This mana base is bizarre. All non-arachnid Reach is Secret Reach. Ah. What was the first card with Reach? Was it a spider? Did we have something with essentially Reach all the way back in Alpha? You want to attack into this opponent? Oh, they want to draw a card. That's so rude. Giant spider all the way back in Alpha, presumably? Okay. Boop, boop. Well, again, I think I just lose if my opponent plays Helena and Elena. I have severely underrated how much the green decks can't beat a 5/6 flyer. Okay. Well, I guess Tangle Trap worked. It did hit a flyer. I feel bad that I boarded into like entirely 5/6 flyers, and my opponent's deal 5 damage ability got to target what I think is the only remaining flyer in my deck at that point. Kind of tempted to play Bloodtithe Harvester and then Deadly Dispute. Think that's better than just playing Anje, but maybe I'm wrong on that. Oh yeah, we did it. We found Bloodvial Purveyor. We're also going to play more creatures. Does this trigger every time? Yeah, it does. No limits here. So they had the ability to play Halana last turn, or at least the mana, which means they don't have it in hand, which means I think I've got a chance. Overlord. Okay. Really? That's a surprising attack. So you have some removal spell to play here, opponent? Why have we done this? What? Okay. Sure. Okay. Am I supposed to loot away lands with blood tokens right now? Is that like what this deck does? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, the other blood token's probably discarding Anje. Also, I probably should have played that on black. Bogus blood tokens. Alright. Opponent can attack with both Tovolar and Rahilda if they want to. They choose not to. Okay. We play Anje. Turns to night next turn, which is a little annoying. I could try to race my opponent here, I suppose. Does that probably kill me? Tovolar pumps Rahilda by 3, makes it a 5-power double striker. Oh, it probably kills me. Okay, this might actually not be as good of a setup as I had originally expected. Interestingly, Meathook Massacre would be good here, although would not be good against what's the most scary possible thing out of them, which I believe is Halana Nalena still. Yeah, the 5-power double striker is a trampler. That is true. I can sack blood and gain life. Yep, I can do that. If they only attack with Rahilda, I end up having to trade the Bloodvial Purveyor for it, which feels pretty bad. Luckily for me, they didn't draw a land. If I put Bloodvial Purveyor in front of it, they have to pump it for 1? I guess I'm supposed to double block so that they can't trample over and draw a card with Tovolar. Wow, oh, cool. Yeah. If you want to kill Anje, opponent, I'm fine with that. I've got another one. Do I sack blood to gain life? No, I think I am super supposed to loot. Also, why did they pump it by that much? Okay. Recently heard someone refer to Anje as Anje. Is that supposed to be the pronunciation? Maybe? Huh. I don't know what language that would be. I guess probably German? I think I'm looting with the blood token here. Russian? German, Transylvanian. A little bit of uncertainty. Florian. Alright, do you have first strike? You do have first strike. That's kind of nifty. I think I want to try to play 2 spells this turn. I can play a 5-power first striking Florian. That's probably what I'm supposed to do. Or I could play a 6/7 Anje. Both honestly seem pretty good. If I was going to play Florian, I should have played it pre-combat, but I didn't know how this card worked. So I think I'm going to play Anje now. The feminine name Anje is a variant of Anje, which is a diminutive of the Hebrew name Anna. This variant is mostly used in Frisian, Dutch, Swedish, and Norwegian. Oh, okay. As a masculine name, Anje is a variant of the Old Nordic name Arni. Interesting. And Frisia is, what, the northern Netherlands, I think? Northeast Netherlands? Something like that? So, largely Northern European then. Not even necessarily German. Although, I imagine probably similar influences. You can either pronounce Anje or Anje, Anya. Okay. We'll go with... Wait, is Anje or Anje with the J-E? Is Frisia supposed to be Finland? No, I believe Frisia is a region... Oh, interesting. So it's the northern coast of the Netherlands, and then apparently also the bordering far northwest parts of Germany? I wasn't aware that part of Germany was considered to be part of Frisia. Interesting. Alright, so it's turning to night tomorrow. I suppose I'm probably supposed to play Florian pre-combat and then swing with Bloodvial Purveyor. Oh! I didn't know this made blood tokens when other vampires enter. You learn something new every day. Interesting. So we are going to burn out the opponent real quick. Cool. Yeah, no combos, but like, any blood at all is still cool. I don't believe I've played a land yet. But that said, Bloodvial Purveyor sounds like a better card in terms of not dying. And I like the not dying plan. Opponent doesn't like the not dying plan. Perfect. The trouble with the incidental life gain idea is that most of the matchups where we've quote had access to incident, or most of the matchups where I have thus far wanted to board in removal. I say thus far as like we've actually played them. The matchups that I have hypothesized that I want to board in the removal against are red-green wolves and clerics. I guess clerics doesn't actually pressure my life total as much, but red-green wolves, the life is a real cost there. Ooh, this hand doesn't look good. I'm gonna ship that. This hand lacks colors of mana, so we're gonna just hope things work out. I guess I lean on Dead on the Bugbear? Maybe that's a mistake? But it feels like if I draw an untapped Black Source next turn, then I'm going to have been rewarded for playing the Den here. Alright, 2 Cursebound Witches for my opponent. We're playing the matchup that I'm kind of suspicious is the worst one, so that's not stellar. Feel like I'm probably just gonna get mid-ranged out. Alright, well, opponent gets to look at my hand, and I definitely want to exile that Valky. That implies they're playing Mardu. Still no black mana. Still a problem. Alright, Stormseeker, get in there. Opponent, if you could somehow have only lands or only 5-drops, I would dearly appreciate you letting me flip it tonight because that gives me a chance. Not so generous, huh? Okay. Have we determined Stormseeker is trash for this deck yet? I don't know, because I do think that it's a very good card against control, but it's possible that it's a sideboard card, and that I should be boarding cards that are better against more kinds of decks. I sort of expected I would be better at being aggressive than I am, to be honest. But Stormseeker does damage. That's good. Oh, there we go. Alright. Wait, was I on the play or the draw? I'm playing this land 100% of the time no matter what, so it doesn't really make a difference. So let's untap this. I think Anje is what I'm happiest to play here. Oh, we get to give it haste. Yay. Okay. Well, I assume that means the opponent doesn't have a Vanishing Verse for Reckless Stormseeker. Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay. I was gonna say, it wouldn't make sense for them to have that and not have used it. Snow? Interesting. I assume that means they're playing Blood on the Snow? And that's the idea here? No! Rite of Oblivion answers on. What a world. Alright. Well, we play Florian. We give Florian haste. We go to combat and swing. Does opponent want to jump block with Bloodrest? Yeah, if you're bringing back 1 and 2 drops, you don't really need to get up to like 5 snow. This is true. Bloodcaster? Are you the most reasonable creature to play here? Probably. Well, Black Cat is not Blood on the Snow. That's a start. They sack Black Cat, exile Florian. Doesn't trigger... Oh, they didn't sack Black Cat? That's kind of surprising, but okay. Alright, well, let's play Stormseeker. And Bloodcaster. I'm curious whether I even bother attacking with Stormseeker into the Black Cat. I suppose it's probably more damage. It's too bad it's not Night. I feel like this would be lethal if it was Night. Okay, the fact they blocked there feels goodish. Since now they gain less life from a board wipe, but I probably don't beat a board wipe either way. Yeah, Meat of the Massacre is a good board wipe. I do get like infinity blood tokens though. That's cool. I'm gonna have to figure out something to do with infinity blood tokens, but having them is nice. Lunarch Veteran's surprising.
Will you deal with this annoyance?
Oh, can I beat Sorin? How do I beat Sorin? Animate Den, swing... I can't redirect Voldaren Epicure to Sorin! So if I animate Den and swing at Sorin, the 2/3 blocks Den, Lunarch blocks a 1/1, Sorin goes to 1. I'm probably losing this game, but let's see about finding some kind of way to turn blood into damage that goes at our opponent's face. Pretty sure I have those cards in my deck somewhere. Yeah, I feel like Brushstroke would be a pretty good card right about now. Oh. Wait, did my opponent just pay 4 life for that? I'm super willing to discard a card to make my opponent lose 4 life. That's pretty fine by me, actually. Come on, Brushstroke. Come on, Brushstroke. Aren't Brushstroke decks just supposed to have 2 Brushstrokes in play like 100% of the time? I'm assuming they just jump block here. They do in fact just jump block here. I feel like this would be easier if I had 2 Brushstrokes in play right now. I think I'm probably supposed to play this Awakening as a land. If I top deck another Awakening, I get to like get back Reckless Stormseeker. Too bad I can't get back 3 Reckless Stormseekers. If they had 2 Brushstrokes 100% of the time, they wouldn't account for the 50% of the time they had 3. Alright. You've convinced me. Oh, I see. Opponent's the one who gets to have 2 Brushstrokes. Not me. Just them. Do I want to chump block? Yeah, since if I don't, I probably die. I probably die even if I do.
You will serve me well.
I feel like my wording probably involved saying I would like to draw a Brushstroke, but maybe that's not true. Still don't think I can win this. It feels real bad to just draw mono draw twos for 1 mana and have that not actually be good somehow. Yep. I died to the blood tokens that they got, plus flyers that I can't do anything about. Brushstroke deck is why Aggro is so hard to play right now. Well, I mean, we have a very, very... not necessarily rock, paper, scissors meta, but like a very balanced in a rock, paper, scissors sort of way meta. We have aggro decks that beat the control decks, we have control decks that beat the mid-range decks, and we have mid-range decks that beat the aggro decks. And there's not really anything that beats everything at once, and it's really annoying. Alright, I would like to play Morbid Opportunists and Sorins and Lolths. I would like to cut Voldaren Epicures. And... do I want to cut Town-razer Tyrants? I might be able to get away with not cutting Town-razer Tyrants here. Maybe. Reckless Stormseeker seemed sort of good, but sort of not good. I think we're going to cut that. Alright, we'll play Town-razer Tyrants, why not? Which is the mill deck? I have no clue yet what the mill deck beats and what doesn't beat it. I don't even know if... so, in terms of the meta being unsolved, I'm not necessarily a player who thinks that the metagame is ever solved, but I do think this metagame is more unsolved than most, but even more than that, it's not that this meta is unknown, because I think I have a pretty strong idea of exactly what this metagame is. It's that the metagame isn't broken that's annoying, because I know exactly where all the decks stand and what decks beat what. It's just, it's really balanced, so there isn't like a right choice. Okay, yeah, sure. We'll draw lands. It'll be fine. Alright, starting to draw lands. That's a start. Yeah, I think they knocked it out of the park in terms of how they rebalanced Alchemy. It is, like, wildly well balanced. I give WotC kudos for that. You got the sacrifice for the witch opponent. Yeah, you do. Well, we get to either play Sorin or Town-razer Tyrant next turn. I'm not sure which I would prefer to play. I hear some people say Mono Green can't do it right now in Alchemy, and yet it seems to be the most reliable deck. Mono Green is real bad against Esper, and last weekend Esper was by far and away the most popular choice for... still don't know whether I want to go on Sorin or Town-razer. Probably Town-razer first. Was the most popular choice for day 2 of the Arena Open, and that made mono green a very bad choice. But mono green is good against most of the other creature decks, and is one of the better aggro decks against the mid-range lists. But yeah, real bad against Esper is a problem. Okay, cool. I am fine with my Deadly Dispute being gone. We are going to attempt to mid-range out the opponent, knowing full well that is a bad idea.
My will must be obeyed. Nothing on Innistrad is free.
No changes to Alchemy yet. I don't even know if I necessarily want any, because the metagame as it stands is so still interesting and balanced, but I would be happy if they buffed random bad cards. The 2 decks that showed up that are pushing Esper out of the format were Red-Green Wolves, which has a threat setup that's solid against Esper's removal package, or at least what used to be stock Esper's removal package, and Is It Control, which is much worse than Esper against the various aggressive decks, but is way better at control mirrors than Esper.
What's one more grudge?
Rite of Oblivion just like being a 2-for-1 is kind of unfair. I'd like to make some spoiler tokens. I am unwilling to play my 6th land. The opponent's deck is very good, and very good against us, specifically. It's a super grindy white-black deck. I don't think that it's super good against the control decks, but it absolutely dunks on all of the creature decks in the meta right now. Would you say the Dragon's deck has an impressive curve at time? Would you expect it to be rebalanced? No. I don't actually think the Dragon's deck is like particularly good. I think that it isn't super fun to play against, but the deck as a whole I would say is like kind of not particularly close to tier 1. I think the Dragon's deck is probably one of the weaker decks in the metagame of the major decks. Do you see Elliot? Dragon's list. I did not. What does that look like? Well, my opponent can never remove the Anje. I can just, like, drain them for 20 here. So that could be cool. I'm assuming they didn't block there because they planned to attack the Lolth and then board wipe. Spikefield, Infernal Grasp, Meathook, Braid, Bloodthirsty Adversaries, Electrostatic Blasts. Oh, that's interesting. Go Blank, Inscription of Ruin, Sedmore Witch, Brutal Blast, Igneous Inspiration, Sorin, Town-razer Tyrant. Okay. I guess, wait, this is already killing Lolth anyway, so why bother? Unless I want to kill the Cursebound Witch. Do I want to kill the Cursebound Witch? I don't think I want to kill the Cursebound Witch. I'm curious if this is good against control. It's definitely trying to be. I respect that it might be. What's the sideboard look like? Bunch of Duress, more Go Blank. Huh. So it's leaning really hard on trying to get value with Bloodthirsty Adversary. Oh, blocking putting us into Meathook range is an interesting point. Yeah, hadn't considered that. Alright, let's sack a blood token, and then go let the kitty. Yeah, sir. Oh, my legs. My leggy legs. Remember to play Florian pre-combat. We've learned how that works. Sanguine Brushstroke. That seems good here. Better than Morbid Opportunist, because my opponent actually is at kind of a low life total. Do we play the land here? Oh wow, I get a Blood Artist too? Dang, this card does a lot of stuff. Do we play the land? Do we play the land? Active player, non-active player order. So if they board wipe, they die? I guess that means I probably play the land, right? The reason I'm not super convinced this red-black deck, if it's a known quantity, is good against control, is because the way in which it leans on hand hate spells and doesn't actually have a huge number of threats means that if your opponent knows you're playing this, I feel like they just get to have a big priority on playing draw twos, and that kind of counters the idea. So somehow we actually beat white-black in a game. I'm assuming that I'm still not changing anything, but I kind of don't think that's going to happen again. Alright, well, this is a curve. Not a good curve, but it is theoretically a curve. Am I supposed to play Haunted Ridge so I can play a 2-drop if we hit an untapped land no matter what untapped land it is, even though that means my third land is tapped? Maybe? Well, regret, because now I wish I could play Florian on 3. Hey, Brushstroke. You're a magic card. Look at that. I'm probably not willing to make this block. Ooh, alright. Forsaken Crossroads, untapped black land, playing Sorin the Mirthless. Upticking Sorin the Mirthless. We live in a world where if the opponent has Vanishing Verse, they probably would have been tempted to Vanishing Verse the Bloodcaster, right? Maybe not. I'm going to uptick the Sorin because I want to hit lands off the top. And that's what Sorin's going to do. Like I said, lands off the top with Sorin. Great stuff. No, they actually saved the Vanishing Verse. Alright, kudos opponent. Well played. Correct decisions were made. You have my respect. Okay, firing up High the Eye Tyrant is like the least scary possible thing in the entire world. Let's play Bloodtithe Harvester. Play Deadly Dispute, sacking that blood. Make treasure, draw lands. True land. Good enough for me. Alright. I can't help but feel like the fact that the opponent animated Hive of the Eye Tyrant last turn is a really good sign. It means that their hand is probably heavy on board wipes? Wedding Announcement. Ooh, I don't love that card being played against me, specifically. Hum. So I can play Lolth and down ticket. It's like an option. I guess I could play Florian and try to make a land drop that way? Yeah, okay, I like that idea. Oh, Brushstroke though, but I gotta make land drops. What am I supposed to play here? Brushstroke or Opportunist? Probably Brushstroke. I keep forgetting that actually puts a Blood Artist in play and that's valuable. I get the feeling my opponent... Well, maybe they just want to draw a card. But I feel like they're probably going to board wipe. Oh, I have to target every Blood Artist trigger? Oh no. That sounds so inconvenient. Okay. I get like infinity blood tokens and drain a bunch. This feels very dumb. In a good way for me. You sure you wanted to draw a card, opponent, instead of making a 1/1 after board wiping? Because I feel like you probably wanted to make a blood token after board wiping. Anyway, I'm going to play Anje and then, like, drain my opponent for 4. Is this sorcery only? No, radical. And by 4, I mean 6. We're going to drain the opponent for 6. And then if they have a problem with that, we will do it again next turn. Huh. I wasn't really expecting to win this, but I think we have won this. That's kind of surprising. Oh no! Opponent was able to answer my Sanguine Brushstroke. Okay, chat, I need feedback very quickly here. Which is better lethal? Do we kill them with the second Anje or with the second Brushstroke? After they just answered both of those permanents. Which one feels worse? With the Anje. Anje? Anje. I need to practice that. Anje. Brushstroke? Oh. Alright, we got disagreements. I guess Brushstroke was more damage, wasn't it? Slow roll feels worse. That's why I told chat to be fast. I didn't want to slow roll. Chat did. Well, somehow this continues to work. Have we lost yet? We must have lost. I definitely just blanked out a game where we... No. We've only played 2. We haven't lost. Weird. This deck doesn't feel good, but it is winning. Oh, you really going at that chair, huh, Cat? Yeah, this mana base does not feel stellar. Maybe we need a 27th land. Maybe that'll fix it. Alright, let's keep the hand. Mulliganing sounds awful. Oh, never mind. Never mulligan. Only good hands. Never bad hands. Opponent on Esper? Dreadfugue. Okay. Well, are you taking my Spikefield Hazard opponent? That'd be very rude if you did. Deadly Dispute's technically a 2-for-1. That's true. Okay. Well, I'm just going to sit here and play creatures then, I guess. Oh, hello. Need more scratches more aggressively? Am I not satisfying you enough, kitty? Edgar seems like a problem. That's not where I was expecting this to go next. I can kill it, but killing it's almost worse than there being a 4/4. Think I gotta kill it though. I don't know that I can beat that. Knight's cool though. Thank you for Knight, opponent. You know what? I'm starting to think that maybe I can beat that coffin, actually. Huh. We keep doing this thing where I feel like I shouldn't win, and then we win. I'll take it. Can this go down a little further? Not really. So, what did we say we wanted to do against control? Oh, right. Literally nothing. Right. Yeah. The opponent does literally nothing line. I really fell out of my control deck mind space because I forgot to consider that possibility. And that possibility always shows up more often than you'd expect. Ooh. If I hit a land drop, we could go Kalain into Town-razer Tyrant on 3? That sounds like fun. Although, having not actually hit the land drop for next turn, I'm kind of tempted to Bloodtithe Harvester instead. I know Esper's removal is bad against Bloodtithe Harvester, but it's not as bad against Kalain. Siphon Insight is a card they kept in against me. Okay. Hopefully the opponent didn't just get rid of all my lands. They did not. They played Voldaren Bloodcaster instead. Alrighty, well, we have an untapped Voldaren Estate that we can use to cast Epicure. Or I can play Reckless Stormseeker. Do I go Kalain and Epicure or Stormseeker? I don't like my opponent's 4 mana kill my Bloodtithe Harvester, but I can't deny that it might be effective. I'm gonna Stormseeker. We'll just draw an untapped red source. It'll be fine. And we'll curve out into the dragon with haste next turn. I guess I could have just not attacked with a 3/2. I wonder if that was correct in some way. Oh, hey, cool, it's night? Wicked. Wow, the opponent also doesn't have a removal spell for my Slasher. Play an opponent does nothing, looking to be successful once again. Whoa, no deck. We do not want to use the treasure for the Epicure. Opponent wants to draw cards. I see. Let's find out how that plan's going to work for him. I turned it back today? Alright. That may have been a mistake. Did I have an alternative to that? Not really, unless I just didn't want to play the Epicure. Which doesn't sound like a great plan. Let's see, this is on black, so they have one white source. So I think we go for the white source with Town-razer Tyrant. Feel like putting the opponent to 2 and getting rid of this plains is probably a good thing. Do I play this land? I probably play this land. Alright, opponent. I feel like you're in a tricky position. They need to answer the Town-razer Tyrant and one of my other permanents, or they die to the Epicure in my hand. Or gain life, I suppose, is also an option. Alright, Teferi is gain life. Now they do still need to answer Town-razer Tyrant. They found a white source. I suppose Teferi having been cast implies that already. So now do we Vanishing versus the Town-razer Tyrant? Ooh, Reckless Stormseeker is fun. Now, to get extra cute, I think I don't give haste to Reckless Stormseeker. I think I give haste to this Epicure. So that way, when my opponent blocks with Edgar, they have to kill an Epicure and leave me with a Stormseeker in play. Yeah, alright. Yeah, that worked, sort of. Although, I am definitely in danger of just losing now. Opponent has nearly pseudo-stabilized. They got rid of a board wipe, which is a bad sign. I guess they got rid of a board wipe they were 1 mana off casting. Barry puts them up to 3. Opponent has access to 4 mana. Okay. Well, Deadly Dispute isn't useless. Is it worth throwing away a creature for 1 point of damage on the opponent? Probably not. I feel like there's a decent possibility that a creature might be worth more than that if we top deck Brushstroke. When is this? Upkeep? So I could theoretically trade 2 creatures with Edgar if they try to attack with it. Is there a world in which that's worth doing? Probably not. we seen the card they kept with Key? No. It is, in fact, the Wrath that is slightly cheaper. Well, moderately punished for not blocking, and by moderately, I mean severely. Also punished for not pushing through 1 point of damage last turn, which is inconvenient. Teferi upticks to 7, which means it's ultimating next turn, and I don't think I can beat that. I think we have... a problem. Okay, Anje and Sanguine Brushstroke are plans. Alright, that's interesting. Why didn't we haste the Stormseeker that one turn? The reason that we didn't haste the Stormseeker is that they had a 4/4 to block the creature with the most power. And if we'd hasted the Stormseeker, it would have just died. Instead, they killed a 1/1, and we accomplished the same amount of damage, which, overall, slightly better for us. Kind of tempted to keep the Agadeem's Awakening. No, I think I'm supposed to play around. If the opponent ultimates Teferi, then I hit an untap land and start draining with Anje. Oh, Sanguine Brushstroke, huh? And they already have a different blood token from a different creature they stole from us? That's concerning. There's our untapped land. Here's our Anje. Alright. Hopefully the opponent's Memory Deluge doesn't hit anything meaningful. Okay. That'll be the game. And I think a big part of that came down to not curving out effectively because we had too many tap lands. I feel like if we had gotten Town-razer Tyrant down on turn 4... I guess I had the option to Town-razer Tyrant on turn 4 and I played Stormseeker instead? Maybe I didn't play that perfectly then. Alright, we take the play. We will keep the hand, because this curves out at least 1 drop into 2 drop, and hopefully more. It does, in fact, do more. Alright, this is not as good as having a turn 2 3/2, but it is at least something. Do I want to play Stormseeker into their represented removal, or would I prefer to hold up Dispute or Brushstroke? I'm thinking probably Dispute. Then again, given that they did nothing here, I guess Sanguine Brushstroke's probably better. Okay, yeah. They did in fact have the Vanishing Verse for the Stormseeker, and now they have used the Vanishing Verse. That seems good, I think. Well, they don't have double black to Parasitic Grasp, so they just have to have another Vanishing Verse if they want to answer the Stormseeker, or a Dwarf Disruption, I suppose. Yeah, fair enough. Very fair. Good point, opponent. Alright, I love my opponent spending time siphoning insight. Siphoning insight? Oh. Spikefield Hazard is like an absurdly good hit off Siphon Insight there, isn't it? Rude. I think I'm just going Kalain into Bloodtithe Harvester here. Or am I holding up Deadly Dispute, actually? No, I need to be aggressive. I guess the downside of this line is if they go untap land 5-mana board wipe, I'm in trouble. Oh yeah, was I talking about Stormseeker when I said they didn't have double black mana? That's definitely not correct, huh? Oh, hey, cool. Do we win the game? I feel like I win the game. My opponent destroys target attacking creature. Yeah, it seems good for me. Okay, agreed. Yeah, I don't know why I thought that Stormseeker wasn't a human. My brain was operating under, I'm playing vampires, that means they have to pay 3 mana to Parasitic Grasp me mode. Well, somehow, we won again. I guess. Opponent keeps 7, I imagine. We get rid of Spikefield Hazard. We play our Haunted Ridge on turn 1. I guess I could play Swamp and deny the opponent the information about whether I'm playing red-black or something else. I've got enough lands that it doesn't matter. Maybe that's a slight improvement? It's probably slightly better, yeah, to play the Swamp instead of the Haunted Ridge. I doubt my opponent has any decisions that that's influenced by, but might as well not give him the information. Hopefully my opponent's actually here. No, they kept 7. It would have timed out longer if they weren't here. Well, maybe I keep this Agadeem's Awakening. You never know how many treasure sources I'm going to wind up getting. Alright, playing against Esper again. You got an answer to Stormseeker on curve, opponent? Yep. This list is missing blue cards. It is kind of interesting how that oversight managed to happen during the deck building process. Definitely want a 3rd black source. Is it the same opponent? I don't know. Divide by 0. Alright. Not good, but better than getting Jwari Disruptioned. Esper is a very common list, though. Yeah, I don't think I'm willing to play Agadeem's Awakening yet. Delete it again. Okay. Alright, so we are also playing against that annoying 4/4 again. Don't love that idea, but alright, alright. What land are we better off burning? The white source or the Shipwreck Marsh? That might be informed by what the opponent grabs. No? Okay. Well. Island doesn't inform that choice at all. I think I'd rather go for the Shipwreck Marsh. I'm not confident in that, but eh. I think I still don't play the Agadeem's Awakening. Once again, not confident in that decision, but here we are. Discover the formula. Okay. Teferi goes up to 6. That's annoying. Am I supposed to kill the Teferi? I'm probably supposed to kill the Teferi, which means animating Den of the Bugbear. Lands continue to burn. Opponent continues to take damage from that. We appreciate that. Opponent board wipes away my blood token. That's rude. No, and now we draw a Deadly Dispute. Opponent. Opponent attempts to Vanishing versus Town-razer Tyrant. I am willing to Deadly Dispute that. We draw Town-razer Tyrant. Interesting. I think I'm supposed to Town-razer Tyrant here, even though it denies me one more mana for Agadeem's Awakening. So that's already burning, so we'll burn this one now. Actually, I should have gone for the black source instead of the white source. I tunnel visioned on dual lands. Alright, that's another reason it was better to go for a black source instead of a white source. Doesn't give the opponent to float the mana to cast a spell. But we got rid of 2 lands. That's helpful. Opponent's much further away from Mascot Exhibition. Actually, I'm super surprised the opponent sacked their lands that early when they're at 18 life. Oh, it's cheaper. Sure. Draw the untap land. That's great. So now we just get to cast Agadeem's Awakening for 4. Getting back Town-razer Tyrant and Stormseeker. Well, that's not the best. We could do better. Do we want to do better? The opponent's tapped out now. That seems important. 3, 2, 2. So I could Epicure, Bloodtithe, Voldaren Bloodcaster. Yeah, why not? Let's get some more blood ETBs. It's not like the opponent's going to top deck a counterspell for this Agadeem's Awakening or anything. Two for 1 is such small gain, though. Also, the opponent could play a Hall of the Storm Giants that I would much rather get to hit with my dragon. But now the opponent's not tapped out. I guess I could just play Anje and sack stuff for a little bit. Also, I think I transformed Bloodcaster here, so that sounds cool. I think you still count as a 1-drop in the graveyard to Agadeem's Awakening. This turn still, despite not casting the Agadeem's Awakening, still a pretty cool turn. Not gonna lie. It just costs 2 more. Its mana value doesn't change. Stole my Deadly Dispute. That's adorable, opponent. I like that. Yeah, the plan is to just activate Anje. I don't know how much removal the opponent has that hits Anje other than like literally a board wipe. Because it dodges Vanishing Verse. And we don't play spells that kill Anje, I don't think. I guess they could bounce Anje, but like, the ability has haste. Yeah, there's a fairy. I feel pretty good about this somehow. I really love Vanishing Verse being not good against this deck. How do they steal creatures? They've been repeatedly flashing back Siphon Insight to steal cards from our deck, like Haunted Ridge, into concession. Ah, lovely. It can hit Sorin? We don't have Sorin in against them, thankfully. It left open 2 blue. I think that might be partially that it always tries to not tap all of the Storm Giants. And they had to pay black. So it could have left up Hull plus double white. I don't know if the fact that it left up blue instead of double white says anything about its preferences. Yeah, I'm still thinking absolutely no changes whatsoever. They changed it a while ago. It taps Hull once there's no longer 6 left. Does it? Okay. Well, I guess this hand actually isn't that bad. We get to loot away lands. I wonder if that means I should actually increase the number of lands in this deck since it makes so much blood anyway. I suppose I should probably start by discarding a land to a blood token and then playing Forsaken Crossroads. Since if I hit another Epicure, I want to play Blightstep Pathway on red, so I want to do this before playing my land for the turn. Am I sure Anje uses Sheer? I don't know, but I think that was in one of the stories. I think. The name is Maid of Dishonor. Which I suppose isn't... Oh, wow. The thing that I played around. Cool. Rewarded. I suppose Maid isn't strictly a gendered term. Anje Wiki. The wiki does use she. Twitter. Oh, are we talking? Wait. We were talking about Anje, right? Or Anje? Anje. I'm gonna get there eventually. I still think that I'm probably supposed to Bloodtithe Harvester here instead of Stormseeker into that open mana. Yeah, they super have Vanishing Verse, and they don't want to use it on Epicure. I guess maybe, depending on that timing, they might have Fierce Retribution as well. What is the acapella reward? After all of these years, I'm almost at 50k. That is that I sing a song a cappella. Oh, songs have been requested. Oh, goodness. I thought I was so strong after I didn't hurt as bad as last time after Pickleball. And I still don't hurt as bad as I did last time at Pickleball, but yeah, I'm feeling it though. Would you consider letting you bet channel points on the outcome of games? Yeah, I'd be willing to consider that. I have no clue how to set that up or do it, but I could see that being fun. I think I'm probably supposed to get rid of Crossroads here, most likely. It costs 1 less for each vampire you control. So if I control 4 vampires, it costs 2. Okay, so I start by playing Bloodcaster, so the opponent doesn't know that they have to kill something in response to it, and then I play Voldaren Estate. Aha! Got him. Requires you or a mod doing the thing for every bet. That might be tricky. I would like to make a blood token, please. Okay, I can try to look into setting up some sort of macro for that. Aha! I've successfully played around the opponent having a removal spell for my Stormseeker. I guess I should probably play Bloodseeker first here. I'm not playing around Jwari Disruption this way, but I'm playing around Parasitic Grasp. I should probably prefer to play around Jwari Disruption over Parasitic Grasp, though. Yeah, alright. I should have known better than that. Okay. Well, that could be worse. Sam Black has a macro. Ooh, yeah, I will look into that. That does sound like a good idea. Do I want to play around more Jwari Disruptions? I am uncertain. I'm getting a lot of mileage out of these Epicures, though. Alright, let's Tyrant. I don't know if I should play the land before this to play around double Jwari Disruption. Alright, let's get rid of that Storm Giant. I think maybe I don't play this Bloodcaster. Definitely playing on black so that I have a third black source. I think the thing I'm most scared of is a board wipe. And that involves not playing the Bloodcaster. What the heck are dragons doing in this deck? Well, Town-razer Tyrant's like the best possible 4-drop against control, so we're playing a lot of it because it's good against them. It uses Voldaren Estate, true, but we only play like 2 Voldaren Estates. Blood token is tapped. Very well. Voldaren Estate can tap to cast Town-razer Tyrant. It just can't tap for red to cast Town-razer Tyrant. It still taps for colorless. Agadeem's Awakening is a good draw. Do I really want to kill the Teferi? Yeah, probably. I mean, I'm assuming I don't get to kill the Teferi. Oh, really? Wow. They really do not want me. Huh. To transform that Bloodcaster. Or they just have a different answer with Town-razer Tyrant. That would make more sense. Okay. Alright. Sequencing makes total sense, opponent. You got it. The downside for them being that they have chosen to put Town-razer Tyrant in my graveyard, which is a problem if I find an untapped land. Boop. Bye-bye. Take a look at the deck. Alright. Remind me... Whoa, let's get the cat hair out of that. Remind me when the match is over. He discarded the discounted mascot exhibition? Okay. If you say so, opponent. I would like to draw an untapped land. What? Foretold? Oh, board wipe. Okay. Well, Brushstroke is pretty good. Makes that board wipe look kinda silly. What you got for me, opponent? Putrefy on Blood Artist. I would like to make a blood token in response. It makes the board wipe better. I got 6 blood tokens and a Brushstroke. I find this amusing. You want out, Soxies? Not all socks fetching redemptions are created equally. Ooh, Town-razer Tyrant's fun. Is that worth playing? The awkward part of playing Town-razer Tyrant is that I don't actually get to discard anything to blood tokens then. And I think I'm probably supposed to discard Town-razer Tyrant to blood tokens. That's like slightly more mana efficient. We can put them to 1, but I guess what do we do after we put them to 1 is the problem. A conundrum. Truly, truly, truly a conundrum. Oh, with our graveyard? We could back Stormseeker, Bloodtithe Epicure? Give Bloodtithe haste, swing for 4, do the 5. Eh? I think we just Town-razer Tyrant. Oh yeah, the 2/1 flyer would actually be like 2 power with haste, wouldn't it? That's cute. Scar? Okay. Where do we go here? Oh no, opponent's gaining life! Do I choose to discard cards to blood tokens? Probably not. I feel like if I hit untap land here, I'm so happy that I'm not supposed to. Florian. Florian, I think I discard. Ugh. I gotta be able to do better than Den of the Bugbear, right? I will willingly keep on risking it here. Alright, here's where I stop, and we just play the land. Which probably should be telling to the opponent. Play Florian? Why play Florian? What does that accomplish? We just put Florian in play, and then, like, we pass to the opponent, and that's really bad, right? It doesn't draw a card. It lets us play a card from the top. But it doesn't put it in hand, so we can't discard it to a blood token. Okay. It's moderately concerning. Alright, well. I need this to not go badly. What 2-drop do we get? Blood Artist or Bloodtithe Harvester? Probably Blood Artist? Probably Blood Artist. Alright, opponent, please don't have a counterspell. I hate that you have priority here. Oh, I love that you no longer have priority here. Let's see, are any of these burning? No. I guess it doesn't really matter, they have 2 keys. So we'll just go with a dual land. And I guess Town-razer Tyrant's the only one worth giving haste, because everything else gets blocked by Imrith successfully. Alright, Vanishing Verse. Yup. Opponent sacks their land. Opponent attacks with Imrith, draws some cards, has infinity mana. We have a Deadly Dispute that can sack a creature if we need another Blood Artist trigger. We have Reckless Stormseeker in play. Opponent draws 2. Just draws up to 3? Gross. Oh, Teferi gains so much life. It's annoying. I don't love it. Doomscar. Alright. Well, hold on, because that's 4 triggers to drain. Opponent's at 4. Okay. Deadly Dispute's definitely on the interesting side of things. Please let this work as lethal. Please let this work. Okay, that also works. You got a counterspell for this opponent? Wasn't even close! Yeah, you may resolve that Memory Deluge, opponent. I accept. The auto-tapper is very confusing because these Voldaren Estates are colorless lands, and it's trying to prioritize tapping them as fast as possible. I probably should have let it tap them earlier. I wasn't ever actually going to be able to activate them. Okay. We're definitely not keeping the one-lander on the play. I guess we'll keep this hand on the play. I really need to consider getting rid of some of these Spikefield Hazards. This kind of sucks. I want to keep all of these cards. I don't have a curve without all of these cards. Would I rather have Stormseeker or Florian? I'm going to go with Florian and regret every decision I've made here. How come I just didn't successfully not mulligan? It was as simple as that. Should I play Bloodtithe Harvester or Bloodcaster? Probably Bloodtithe Harvester. What's the worst that could happen? The opponent like plays a creature that I could have flown over? Ooh, alright. Am I playing Florian here for no immediate value? No. I think I'm playing Bloodcaster to play around Jwari Disruption, which seems like the most likely thing my opponent could have in this spot. Judging by that pause, I'm going to say I nailed it. So opponent looks like, is it key control? Good old expressive iteration on the draw into discard a card. And that card is expressive iteration. Yeah, that's expressive iteration for you. Hit a land drop with Florian? Oh yeah, we hit a land drop with Florian. Which land drop to play? We have a double red, actually. I guess probably the Swamp. And then loot away the Spikefield Hazard? Maybe not. Maybe I care about the blood tokens because I got Bloodcaster number 2 in my hand if they board wipe me. Key to the Archive. Expressive Iteration is a card that gets a lot of additional play because it is stellar in older formats, where mana curves of decks are lower. Opponent discards the 3rd Expressive Iteration. I love it. Alright, let's swing with everybody. See if Florian hits a Town-razer Tyrant for us. It does! It does hit a Town-razer Tyrant. Would like to burninate my opponent land. Presumably the opponent decides to sacrifice the land here. Wow! Opponent! I will not fault your bravery, opponent. Unfortunately, that was not good enough, but I do understand the rationale. I would now like to play my Voldaren Bloodcaster and lethal. I'm sorry, wait, what? When you create a blood token if you control... Okay. Well, I was supposed to play Town-razer Tyrant. But opponent conceded for no reason, because they also misunderstood my card. I'll take it. Changes. None. Ship it. Hopefully this time my opponent draws 4 expressive iterations again, although admittedly the card is significantly better on the play. When do we sideboard other aggro decks? Yeah, other aggro decks and other grindy mid-range decks. No Sorin? I don't think so. What card am I supposed to cut to play Sorin, I guess, is the question I would ask. Sand seems fine. Other than that, weirdly, I think I have to pay 1 life to play this Epicure on turn 1, because I want both of my other lands on black for the Brushstroke. Oh, that does leave me with a problem when it comes to playing dragons, though, doesn't it? But yeah, I don't think Sorin is like bad against Izzet or anything, but it's difficult to come up for a reason why any card in our deck would be worse than Sorin. Oh, Dry Disruption. Rude. We're not getting off to a particularly terrifyingly aggressive start here. Oh. I mean, I am like somehow 2-for-1ing my opponent with most of this, so that's not terrible. And keep the archive. Pretty resilient to getting 2-for-1 though. Somewhat resilient, I should say. Not necessarily pretty resilient. Yeah. Town-razer Tyrant not looking stellar right now. I guess I can discard Town-razer Tyrant to a blood token, and then possibly eventually get it back with Agadeem's Awakening? Is that a game plan? Sanguine permanent being this many, Sanguine Brushstroke being this many permanents, yeah, is kind of silly. Alright, opponent's expressive iterations are turning out to be a lot better than last game. I can't tell but feel like I am discarding Town-razer Tyrant here. I have ceased to be successfully out 1-for-1ing my opponent. I'm at... What do they tutor here? Huh. Hullbreaker Horror, probably? Alright, well... That's weird, but okay. I think I'm still discarding the other Spikefield Hazard, though, which means I actually did this very poorly, because I could hit a Florian here. Or a hasty creature. But we have a red land that we can play next turn, so all is well. Oh wait, Brushstroke into Bontu sounds like fun. I kind of dig that idea. It's too bad Bontu's like infinity mana. What is your name? Blue? Okay. Okay, I was about to say, if we were going to unsummon the Epicure, I would not have been able to handle it. Yeah, there's the card they probably Demonic Tutored for. Well, no, maybe they Demonic Tutored for the Discover the Formula, actually. That's a possibility. But horror is hard to beat when the opponent has cards in hand. That's the rules. Okay. Or Town-razer Tyrant's not great when the opponent's probably going to bounce my Town-razer Tyrant. Oh, they're not going to bounce the Town-razer Tyrant. Ray of Frost, that's an interesting adaptation to werewolves. That might be good. You got a Spikefield opponent? No, you don't. Still, I think they've stabilized, unless they're just totally out of cards. Expressive iteration? I've got a bad feeling that my Agadeem's Awakening won't be resolving this game. You want to bounce my Town-razer Tyrant for me, opponent? No? Oh. Okay. Well... Oh, wow, I didn't have a third black source. Alright. Wait. They've exiled every creature they've killed, huh? Because every creature they've killed so far has been with a Spikefield Hazard? Alright, that's amusing. I dig that. That means I played this wrong. I should have played it on a red so that I could replay the second Town-razer Tyrant. Yeah. Alright, I can't beat that. They get to cast a 7-mana Mascot Exhibition now. Eat. Unchanged. Alright, this is aggressive creatures and a little bit of flooding, but blood tokens. Blood tokens is anti-flood, sort of. A little bit more flooding than I'm comfortable with, but blood tokens. Definitely willing to pretend blood tokens solves all problems. That Spikefield Hazard is a bizarrely good draw right now. I am absolutely thrilled to Spikefield a Smoldering Egg. Jeez. Okay. I do think that I'm looting away a Den of the Bugbear here. Okay, Sanguine Brushstroke is something. Well, if they got to divide by 0, I don't want them to divide by 0ing one of my creatures on board. If they've got a Dwari Disruption... Alright. Such is the breaks. Interesting that my opponent... Oh, you're kidding. I thought that was a Voldaren Citadel. Okay. Well, we're not firing up Den of the Bugbear this turn. That's a pretty costly mistake. I'm going to need to pay more attention to that. Yeah, not good. Getting an additional 4 damage in here and having another 1/1 in play. Pretty significant deal. Maybe we're going to win by enough that just time walking ourselves doesn't matter. We can hope. Good ol' Anticipate Expressive. If we'd even played the Den instead of the Forsaken Crossroads, that would have been better. Ugh. Because then I would have the second Den in play in case the first Den gets removed, and I'm kind of obligated to loot this Den away. In the interest of using my mana to convert it to burn. But, well, I still feel probably mostly comfortable, especially if they burn down the house here. So they go to 8, and then 7, and then 3. Town-razer Tyrant, are you worth it? You're probably pretty close to worth it. I'm interested in discarding Kalain first. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Town-razer Tyrant's probably worth it. Setting our opponent back on mana is good. We're going after the black land here so they can't play Key into Doomblade, specifically. It also is really hard for them to spend this mana before sacking it. They choose to keep it. That's interesting. Not wrong. I really keep not paying attention to that enough, but like, the fact that it's hard for them to spend black mana on their upkeep, whereas like, if I hit blue mana, they could Fading Hope the Town-razer Tyrant with it on their upkeep, or even use that. I guess they could use black mana to cast Divide by Zero, couldn't they? Alright, what do you have here, opponent? Do I want to fire up Den of the Bugbear? I don't think I want to fire up Den of the Bugbear this turn. Yeah, Fading Hope. You got it. Attempt to replay Town-razer Tyrant? Let's go with Seer Step. Can you ask a question about the sideboard? Absolutely. I would love to answer questions about the sideboard. The answer is probably that, I don't know, I haven't put too much thought into it. Fading Hope on Tyrant is so rarely a way to win the game, right? The reason I played the land there, by the way, is it gives me the ability to, if they choose not... Oh, Electrostatic Blast is interesting. If they choose not to sack one of these pathways, I now have enough mana to activate Forsaken Crossroads and sack the blood. Why no Hand Hate? It's because I don't think this deck can go mid-range and try to 2-for-1 control decks. I think Duress is a huge mistake to play in most aggressive lists because you are cutting threats to play Duress, which means you're attempting to attack your opponent's answers at the expense of actually developing your board, which really isn't, in my opinion, particularly effective. I think that it can be okay in decks that are like white-black brushstroke decks that are trying to just outdraw and grind out the control deck and leave them with nothing. But that's not what this deck is doing. So the card that's more acceptable than Duress, I think, is Go Blank, because it's kind of like a 2.5-for-1 against Leer decks. But I still prefer to just play more threats and try to kill my opponent than to try to waste time not playing threats and attacking their hand. Because it doesn't matter if you hit your opponent with a Mind Rot if they just go key into Discover the Formula. Like, all the time you spent was totally wasted. And I think that happens a higher percentage of the time if your entire deck isn't built around stripping them of resources. Is this still not Voldaren Estate? Was that still Crossroads? I hate this so much. Alright, I'm going to learn that eventually. Yeah, why not? We'll draw Black Source, it'll be fine. Okay. Play Den, draw Black Source, it'll be fine. I'm not sure if it was correct to not play the Spikefield Hazard on turn 1, but I don't have any red cards that I can play on turn 2, so... What cards are we bringing in against key decks? Nothing. We have no cards to bring in against key decks, because the entire deck is a 60-card main-decked anti-key deck. Don't need to bring in any sideboard cards if your main deck is perfect. I feel like I have problems if my opponent answers this Stormseeker in any way whatsoever. They've answered my Stormseeker. I'm suspicious that I have problems now. Alright. It's a Knight, opponent. Do you have another answer to Stormseeker? Alright. Are hard to remove. Okay. Demon Bolt is a card that is a dex can play. That's true. Not typical, but it's true. Card I've been finding to be okay in the sideboard is one that's not seen a lot of play, Weathered Runestone. What matchups have you been finding that helpful against? That's interesting. Oh, the Hall of Storm Giants is horrifying. Cool. Alright, well, we're going to play Anje, because at least it gives us a blood token to sack to Deadly Dispute. Lear Captain. I'm of the opinion that it is not worth trying to play Weathered Runestone against Lear decks, at least not in a deck like this. I think that it is much better to just play things that kill them, rather than trying to attack them with card advantage. It's the same reason that I'm not really playing any hand hate. Yee. All right. Rough times over in Black Source Land. Sacking a treasure to play Kalain does not sound like a winning move. That's gonna be a problem. Three mana, huh, opponent? At least Town-razer Tyrant's good. Admittedly, Town-razer Tyrant taking out all the Storm Giants gives us real options here. Oh, hold on. I want to discard a Florian in the hopes of making a land drop here. No, but okay, Deadly Dispute could be worse. Opponent can't really... I mean, I guess they're on plan double removal spell Town-razer Tyrant? Galvanic does that. I wonder if they're just going to make 6 1/1s? That might be the best use of that Galvanic. Or maybe make 9 1/1s in attack. Yeah, that's actually the best line here for them, is just make 9 1/1s in attack. Well, maybe that's bad if I have Black Source into Meathook Massacre. It's not that bad, though. I still clear my board. I'm not liking this position. Mostly on account of I am physically incapable of killing this Lear. Hey, there's land. That's something. Oh, I actually have to, like, sacrifice the Voldaren Epicure to get a blood token. Or to get a black source. I can't play Bloodtithe and then sack the blood token. Because I'm still short on same-colored mana sources. But Town-razer Tyrant as a 5/5 again is pretty cool. And it actually resolves. Alright, alright. Considering how much the opponent's going off and how awkward my game has been, the fact that this is like... me trying to call this close is exaggerating. But, like, I'm performing game actions still. That's nice. Alright, double braided Town-razer Tyrant. Key to the Archive. I feel like they should have played that before the Abrade, because if they hit Time Warp here, they gave up the opportunity to just play 2 Time Warps. I think we go with Bloodcaster, Bloodtithe Harvester. Gives us like infinity blood tokens if the opponent board wipes. I mean, presumably they Spikefield Hazard one of the Bloodcasters before they board wipe. In which case we only end up with 3. But also they probably don't board wipe because there's a Leer in play. Approach, that seems very bad for me. Expressive Iteration seems pretty bad for me. Second Expressive Iteration seems bad for me also. So we gotta do lethal to the opponent this turn. I'm gonna go with that one's probably not likely. I wonder if I might have preferred them to have found a Time Warp instead of Approach. It might have been slightly easier to handle. Okay, Spikefields answer both of our Bloodcasters. The cute thing is I finally have a way to kill Leer. It just doesn't matter, is all. But, like, it's cute. I could activate Voldaren Estate and then kill Leer. Nope, I think I'm probably dead to my opponent deciding to play the Approach of the Second Sun card over there. How do you feel about the more controlly red-black decks that have been popping around? The ones that won the Stream League this week look very interesting. I appreciate what they're trying to do. I don't think that it leaves them with any excellent matchups. I think that they're worse against control decks than this kind of a build, and that they're better against creature decks, maybe? But, like, the one that won the Stream League did not look good against other creature-based aggro decks, and I don't think that's where I want to be with a deck like that. Because if I wanted to play a deck that was good against control decks and had an awkward time against aggro, I'd probably just be playing Izzet. No changes. But my general opinion on most decks in Alchemy right now is, I don't know, everything's kind of balanced and beats some stuff and doesn't beat other stuff. So, like, it's wicked hard to find a busted deck in this format. We will take the play. This hand seems awful, so we'll mulligan. This hand seems like it casts cards that are in it, so we'll keep. Ooh, do I prefer Town-razer? I guess I have to prefer Stormseeker when I don't have a third land drop. Once again, this is not the Voldaren land that I thought it was. I really need to somehow learn to get in the habit of actually checking that. Would I rather have double red or double black? I think double black. No on the Bloodtithe Harvester. I got enough, but thanks. Make just one of them wobbly? Oh no, I hate that that's a good idea. Oh no. Opponent, do you have Jwari Disruption? Pony, you're legally obligated to tell me if you have Dwari Disruption. Oh, or they have removal. Hopefully this is just Spikefield Hazard and not a Braid. It's a Braid. Hopefully we find another Stormseeker. Tap land. Does it untap? No. Opponent, does that mean you have Dwari Disruption? Luckily for me, I think I actually get to play around Dwari Disruption because we drew Bloodtithe Harvester. Now I'm just... Or rather, I don't have to play Florian into a Dwari Disruption. I can just play 2 Bloodtithe Harvesters. The second Bloodtithe Harvester does run into Dwari Disruption, but that's okay compared to Florian running into it. Oh, alright. That means this isn't a Braid, or a bounce spell. Ray of Frost. Alright, yeah, Ray of Frost continues to actually probably be decent against me. I mean, not stellar, because it does leave a permanent in play that I get to sack, and I still got the blood token. But it hits a lot of my creatures, so it's fine. Alright, lead on Florian, see what the opponent does about that. Go to combat. Spikefield Florian? Oh, Electrostatic Blast is such a weird card to include. I feel like it doesn't kill enough stuff to be worth playing. Too bad I can't sack my Bloodtithe Harvester to my blood token. That would make me happy. Yeah, alright, well, it does end up finding the Smoldering Egg. So, I don't know, maybe this works? But, there's so many aggressive decks that, like, what are you... What's the play pattern on this supposed to be? What do you hit on turn 2? Doesn't playing a 2-drop removal spell that doesn't hit 3 toughness Reckless Stormseekers just sound like not doable? I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, so the end result of this, as far as I can tell, is that the opponent gets no cards off Electrostatic Blast. Or, well, they get a land off Electrostatic... So they get options with Electrostatic Blast, but then Expressive Iteration still taking their land for the turn. Yeah, I don't think I'm supposed to play anything here. I think I'm just supposed to hold this swamp. In case I need to discard it to a blood token later on. Den of the Bugbear continues to feel like a good magic card. But I could board wipe here. Kalain. Alright. Well, then I'm probably playing the swamp to discard Kalain later. Alright, opponent. How many instant speedo answers do you got? Oh, kind of amusing here, actually. They have to remove the den before it attacks. But if they do that, I get to use it to sack a blood token. Okay. Bloodtithe in my hand. I guess that can't target den. But still need an answer to den. They don't have an answer to den? Oh, okay. Well. So that means then what they should have done? I guess they were just hoping I wasn't going to activate den and I'd do something else instead. But they could have done Divide by Zero Bloodtithe Harvester at sorcery speed. Okay, they discarded Disdainful Stroke looking for a removal spell. Maybe that's reasonable. But, like, you could get Environmental Sciences and not be dead on board there. And there's a possibility that's just a better line. Maybe. 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 Oh, I do not like this hand against Spikefield Hazard potentiality, but at least Bloodcaster loots if it dies to something that isn't Spikefield. We're going to keep it and we're going to draw Blood Source. It'll be fine. Probably. More Bloodcasters is castable creatures, so that's cool. Opponent had priority there, so they have a Spikefield. That's a concern. But we're drawing more lands. Do I even play Bloodcaster here? Yeah. I do have to elect to get it Spikefielded, because at least that still goes 1 for 1, and could be worse. Alright. Not good times over here. Spikefield number 2 hurts. That hurts inside a lot. We have successfully used no removal spells that can answer a Den of the Bugbear. The Town-razer Tyrant's at least something, maybe? If it resolves? It doesn't. Okay. Well, maybe the opponent doesn't have any 2-for-1s. Oh, they found an expressive iteration. Okay. Awkward. I would like my opponent to not have a removal spell for my den. Unfortunate, but okay. Not going to cast a Spikefield Hazard here because I can still discard them to blood tokens, which provides more value than 1 damage. Oh boy. We have accomplished literally nothing. Alright, opponent. I'm gonna need you to just not have anything relevant anymore. The unfortunate thing is we got so blown out by Spikefields and Jwaris early on that also thinned our opponent's deck for Discover the Formula. So, like, yeah, that's just all the worst case scenarios, isn't it? Should have done this in the other order. Now they can remove the Bloodtithe Harvester before the Bloodcaster resolves. Well, if the opponent's kind enough to have no more spells, I can kill that horror. But I do require them to have no more spells. That's 2 more spells. That doesn't quite work. What are the chances the Key to the Archive hits a land here? Opponent discarded a spell instead of a land. That is a bad sign. I'd like to attempt to play Bloodtithe Harvester. Would like to attempt to play Kalain. Okay, and I'd like to attempt to play, not using treasure, Bloodtithe Harvester. Okay. Our opponent needs to answer both Bloodtithe Harvesters to keep the horror alive. Behold the Multiverse is pretty bad and answers one Bloodtithe Harvester. Okay, so we need the card they got off Key to the Archive to be uncastable, and we need the Behold the Multiverse to hit nothing, and also the 2 cards in hand to be nothing. So hopefully they kept a land on top. Well, opponent, do you forget that Bloodtithe Harvester can kill Hullbreaker Horror? I would like to chump block, please, before you have the opportunity to bounce Kalain and then Time Walk and kill me. Please forget Bloodtithe Harvester has an ability. They did not. That's a problem. Okay, well, we're gonna play Bloodtithe Harvester. Does that resolve, opponent? Cool. Deadly Dispute, admittedly not a terrible card here. We play Epicure. Yeah, a Braid's a problem. A little Deadly Dispute, sacking the Bloodtithe Harvester. Opponent still has a card they got off Key to the Archive. Cool, lands, excellent. We can loot those away. That's kind of like drawing real cards. Alright, Reckless Stormseeker is an actual, for real magic card. Alright, slowly whittling the opponent's cards away. Opponent puts us to 3 here. And that means that we do die to Wrath of God, which is an awkward spot to be in. Okay, well, we play Epicure. And then we blood sack. I'm gonna need a Spikefield Hazard to not be dead. I'm gonna need a Spikefield Hazard to not be dead. Okay, Brushstroke is not dead. Brushstroke is not dead. I'm gonna need the opponent to not have any cards in hand. Divide by 0 is a card in hand, which also gives another card in hand to bounce Epicure. So we're back on plan, needing a Spikefield Hazard to not be dead. Start from scratch, huh? I believe that makes me dead. Yeah. Might almost be possible for them to misplay, and for us to not die if I had 1 more mana. But as it stands, not quite possible for them to misplay. Oh, they did play the Lightning Bolt. You're right. That definitely is not a card that started out in their deck.